Yo, what's up guys? I'm Mr. Gooby. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be just chilling on some Minecraft, reading a few creepy, scary Reddit stories. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Let's get straight into it. Alright, the first story is by Endlooks. I hope I'm saying that right. I have a haunted doll, and yesterday I got the first sign that she really is haunted. I think. I don't know if this is even real. I have a doll I bought from a thrift store a while ago. I've always loved vintage dolls. I have three now. So when I got her, I didn't think she was actually haunted or anything. The only weird thing that happened was small items like jewelry and two of my crystals have gone missing. But since I have gotten my other two dolls, two clowns, they're the same model, just different color themes. Stuff has been falling down in my room that usually doesn't fall. And it only happens when the two clowns are placed somewhere differently than their usual spot. My phone is usually the victim. I'll lay it on my bed or some other flat surface. I'll leave the room and I hear it fall down. Some of the plushies I have in my room have been falling from their shelves as well. And something in me just kind of knew it was her, I think. Though I wasn't sure if this was her or one of the clowns. So, in a bit of desperation, I just said out loud, if what's happening is you, give me a sign. Not thinking it would actually work. But, yesterday, as I was digging through my bag just to grab my mascara, when I found a ring I've been looking for a year and a half, it was in my bag. I was so taken aback by seeing it again when it hit me. This must be the sign. Maybe I'm just blowing things out of proportion, but apparently she's protective over my other two dolls, I think. Yeah, guys, that's pretty crazy. I mean, that sounds like she's haunted, in my opinion. Yeah, she gotta go. She gotta go. Return to the thrift store. Oh no. The second story is by The Lost Library. The Man with No Eyes. I'm sorry, I truly am. And I hope you can forgive me, as this is not something I do willingly. I simply have no other choice. If you are confused, don't worry. It will all make sense by the end of this. Yeah, this is not going off. This is already off to a bad start. Oh god. Alright, let's get to it. Let me start at the beginning. I work at a local grocery chain as a cashier. As such, I meet a lot of people on a near daily basis. A lot of the time, it's regulars, but you'd be surprised just how many total strangers or just people passing through. This guy in particular was once such a man, and he is the reason why I'm telling you this. He wore a large overcoat and a scarf that covered his neck and the lower half of his face. He also sported a large hat that hid his eyes well as he walked through the store with his head down. My coworker quietly pointed him out, making note of his unusual choice of clothing for a hot summer day. We quietly joked that he must have been three children in a trench coat, but soon quieted as he approached my register. I was the only lane open since it was a rather slow time of the day. I put on my best customer service smile and gave the usual spiel I had given so many times before as I got the register ready to scan his only item, a single candy bar. The man said, speaking only in a low, gruff voice as he opened his wallet and paid in cash. I politely took the money and handed back the receipt only to find my hand in a vice-like grip as he roughly grabbed me and mumbled something I didn't quite catch. Shocked, I could only answer with the look of confusion and a quick, huh? That's when the man looked up to me and my heart skipped a beat. Tears running down his face in long, wet trails as his eyelids were pinned up wide open. What the fuck? Held in place by a thin piece of duct tape, his pupils were fully dilated and seemed to vibrate intensely. I gasped audibly as he stared directly into my eyes and repeated what he said. 4 words. Just 4 little words. I wish I realized then exactly what those 4 words meant. As the man's grip loosened, I yanked my hand away while my manager stepped up to confront him. But the man was already on his way out, walking briskly away, out of the door. I inspected my hand as my coworker and manager asked me if I was alright. My hand was a little sore, but otherwise unhurt. As usual, we joked about the weirdos that we get in the store from time to time. I set the candy bar aside the man left behind. It wasn't until the next day that I began to notice the strange occurrences. I didn't see anything for the first several dozen blinks, but as time went on, I began to notice something that appeared at a distance in the darkness of my closed eyelids. Confused, I shut my eyes tight while I was on the bus to work, concentrating on the slowly approaching shape. It appeared to be the figure of the man slowly walking towards me from far away. Oh my god. No matter how long I held my eyes shut, the figure stayed the same distance away from me. I became concerned. I have heard floaters in the eyes and after images when the eyes are closed, but nothing like this. Here was an image of a man in full color and detail in a brown suit, hat, showing up whenever I closed my eyes. I googled symptoms, but nothing helpful came. As time passed, my concern grew. I realized that the man seemed to be getting closer with every blink. He would creep closer ever so slightly, but it was enough to tell that he made progress after several blinks. Oh, good God, that is terrifying. By this time, I was getting very worried, and I looked up symptoms of hallucinating with eyes closed. I finally made some progress, as this seems to be a common enough phenomenon to warrant a Wikipedia page and several articles, but nothing that suggests it suddenly manifests without application of some psychedelic drug, meditation, or visual training. Nor did it explain how vivid and repetitive and escalating my particular case was. I thought back to when I had that crazy customer in the overcoat grab my hand yesterday. Had he drugged me? I found no punctured marks or cuts anywhere on my skin, and I distinctly remember washing my hands thoroughly after that encounter because of how disgusted I felt. Perhaps something I breathed in? I felt the beginning of a panic start to creep in around me, and I wondered if I should go to the hospital. I sat back in my bus seat and groaned, not willing to deal with any of this. I closed my eyes, rubbed them out of habit, and the man was still there. I sat up straight and opened my eyes wide. For a moment, I simply just sat there before furiously Googling on my phone again. I read the results with growing horror. Rubbing your eyes should interfere with any closed eye phenomenon, but it wasn't. I closed my eyes, rubbed them again, harder this time. The man was closer now, and he seemed to be laughing at me. A wide, toothy smile splitting the lower half of his face open as his eyes remained hidden behind the brim of his hat. His gaze focused downwards. Oh my, that is terrifying. I pressed into my eyes, the pain flaring into my sensitive organs as after images flared bright in front of the image of the man. Yet he continued to approach, unbothered and seemingly amused by my actions. I was starting to freak out now. I quickly got off the bus to the next stop, panic overriding my senses, as I decided to cut through 2 city blocks instead of waiting for the bus to weave its way through traffic to stop at the nearest hospital. I cut through alleys and right across streets until I saw the hospital just across last street. All the while, the man in my vision was getting closer and closer every time I blinked. As he approached, I could make out more details, like the brim of his slat slowly tilting upward, revealing more of his wide, ghoulish smile, like lined with sharp yellow teeth. He was only a few feet away from me now. I stopped where I was, holding my eyes shut, mentally preparing myself to keep my eyes open for long periods of time between blinking before I opened them again. I stood on the sidewalk opposite from the hospital. Hope flared in my chest as I looked across the street towards salvation before stepping onto the asphalt. Now, reader, this is what brings me back to why I'm writing this. Because I made one terrible mistake that day. With the cuts and the broken legs from the collision to prove it. And now, I'm in the very hospital that I thought would help me get rid of this hallucination. But I know now that it's not a hallucination because the man is still there. He's looking right at me now with those empty, hollow sockets where his eyes should be. I can see him standing there, inches away from my face whenever I close my eyes. I can see the nerves dangling out, dripping crimson tears down his sickly, pale flesh. And he's still smiling with that awful smile. God, I can feel his rancid breath on my face as I type this out. I asked him what he wanted, and he was more than willing to tell me. He wanted my eyes. Of course he does. And I could do nothing about it with my broken legs now. I don't think that would help me at all anyways. But there is one thing I can do. You see, he explained that I can be free from him if I pass it on to someone else. All I have to do is tell them these 4 words. Just 4 little words. He can see you. Oh, hell no. I just tried to close my eyes to see if I can. Oh, that was actually kind of scary. That was a good story. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stories and the Minecraft gameplay. Uh, you probably noticed that I stuttered here and there in the video, but this is a learning process for me. So I I hope you guys do enjoy the videos. I'm gonna be really trying to working hard on perfecting this new craft of mine. So I hope you are along for the ride, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.